Good morning, how are you doing? It is another Saturday as usual. Here we come again, another Saturday to bring you another topic that I know this will spoil your interest, like you will like it. It's all about what happened, transpired during the week, and it's everywhere on the social media, and it was like, okay, let's hear our own voice from probably balancing the story about Kwam incident at the airport. That's not the Azikiwe airport. So we all know we've had the story, but just for people who have not heard of the story, so I'm going to do little breakdown. Please bear with me if I don't get much details about it. So Kwam planned to travel. It's a domestic flight, so he planned to travel and he went to Nnamdi Azikiwe airport in Abuja. So he went through the security check. He went from the first one to the second one. I don't know how they did it, nobody requested that he dropped. He had the flags on him. Where the content, I don't know if the content has been checked from the first security point, or they didn't check it till they got to the airport, like to the airline, where he wanted to board the airline. So the security at the airline requested that he can't fly with the flags and the content of the flags. But if I'm going to use my experience, it's possible that they check you before the first security checkpoint, second security checkpoint, and you buy your content in the airport. So if you buy your content in the airport, possibility that you may want to take it along with you. And here they're saying that no, you can't fly with this, according to the security checkpoint, that you can't fly with the content of the flags. And that is the job of the security people. And this guy is saying that this is not the first time I'm flying with the content of my flags. And they said he got us like he won't board unless he drops the content. And Kwam, being a person who we all know, he asked them, "Do you know who I am? Do you know me? Is that why, like being a celebrity, maybe he thought they would give him some preferential treatment?" And he poured the contents of that flags, the bottle, on the security check, and they saw that that is a not compliant passenger, which not compliant passenger will not board. And he insisted I was going to board. So according to the story, they're about to fly, so they don't want any delay. So they asked him to move away from the airline so that they can fly, and insisted that he's not moving away from it, that they have to board him with the jet, with the flight. That's the Value Jet was the name of the airline. So the pilot did not check around. Probably he thought he had left, and he moved the airline. That means he moved the plane, and the wing of the plane nearly hit Kwam's head, whereby he had to dodge it, and it became an issue. So I think the pilot had to write an incident report. Kwam had to apologize for not being compliant, and this raised a lot of eyebrows. Like, why will you not listen to this great person based on because you are a celebrity? And if you ask me, if you buy the content, if you have passed through a security check, and you buy your content in the airport, in where, my experience, you can fly with your content. You can fly with your flags. You can fly with your water that you bought in the, what's it called? In the airport. That is, there's a place that when you pass off do security check, that if you buy your content, your liquid in the airport, you can fly with it. So I don't know why they wanted him to drop his flags. And he's saying, no, I can't drop my flags. This is not the first time I'll be flying with it. So what do you think? And refusing to comply for safety check. What do you, and also pouring the content on the security after, going back and forth on it. And the idea of delaying the flight, and also the safety breach. So these are the things, the count charges I'm putting on him now. Like, number one, you're not compliant, refusing to comply with the safety check. Number two, pouring your content on security, and also trying to delay the flight, standing in front of it, like you cannot move, you cannot board without me. And that's also endangering the safety of other passengers in the flight. So what are your opinion? What do you think to it? Who was right? Who was wrong? What do you think? Could the pilot be more patient, or could he have called for more security to get him out of the spot and the fly? Or what do you think they could have done? And do you think what Kwam did also was also good for his own credibility and his own position and being a celebrity online? Though he has come out to apologize, but we still need to look at it and look at the lesson to learn, so we can avoid such a reoccurrence from our celebrities and other passengers who may think they have power over the security or the airline. So feel free to join this conversation. Send your request if you want to be part of this conversation, and also hear your opinion. You can also use your comment box to express yourself. We'll always read it and also probably call attention if it's different from what we're talking about. Okay, so let me call other co-hosts also to join me in this conversation. I will not be, I don't do this conversation by myself and all alone. So I'll be calling my other co-hosts to express, what they see and how they view it. This is always whatever they say personally is always their opinion. So, and also that's what we do. Thank you, Sister Tita. This is my one of my my biggest fans, Sister Simita. Oh God, I love her so much. She's one of my core heart fan. Don't worry, I will not forget if I blow. I'm still gonna blow. Sister Simita, you're part of my core fan, and I always see you behind me every time. I love you so much, sis. So we'll be bringing other co-hosts to join us in this conversation. Did Kwam did well? Like, was this action also endangering the aviation safety? Do you think he did that? He only said doesn't want the content, and that flag is a very small flag. Let's be sincerely. But what he just did wrong was not listening to them. He could have just poured the content away, or and still get the same content in the plane. You can ask for water in the plane. If truly it was water, you can always get water in the plane. You can request for, okay, can you, when you get into the plane, can you please fill this bottle for me? They will gladly do. And I don't know why he wasn't complying. And he should put himself in that shoe if he was the one walking. That's most of my time when I look at people, I try to put myself in their shoes to understand, will I have done the same thing? So now, he should put himself like he was walking and he's talking to his people that worked with him, and they're not listening to him. How would it feel? So this person, you could have just, oh, somebody has sent a request. Thank you, Ajashego, for joining us. So the content of that flax, if it was water according to what he claimed, could have been refilled. If it was alcohol, you cannot be drunk on the plane. You can't be you cannot, you get what I mean, though? Versus Kwam, it believes with his influence, he can get away with things. And that was what he just displayed. And do you know who I am? Is also a question that can, like, aggravate things. Like, if you want to know who you are, you can exercise your power outside this place, but these are jurisdictions, so we have our power. I think that was what the pilot, though she should have done that. But sometimes you let emotion overshadow you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good morning, good afternoon.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm doing okay.
Good to see you again. Though I can't see you, but good to have you here.
Yeah, I'm using my other phone, so I can't see you also, but I can hear you.
That's okay. So we're talking about the Kwam story. And we saw what there was displayed. Everybody had the story, different versions, from the pilot version, from Kwam himself version, or his manager, and he later came to apologize. And we had that both of them have been under investigation. So how did you, what's your opinion about the whole story? What do you think was wrong? Who do you think was right? What's your view about it?
To be honest, when I read it, I sincerely have a conspiracy theory. I think the government is actually trying to, let us give us some meaningless issues to deal with so that we don't have to talk about reasonable issues. Honestly, if you see what has been happening in the social media and even in the country for the past like 2 months now, I feel like there are issues that would contribute nothing to the coming elections. And I think it's a conspiracy theory that somebody is intentionally doing that, because I really don't see any sense in the whole thing that happened from either of the party. I feel like they could have conducted themselves better. Either of them could have conducted themselves better. The younger one could have, out of respect, decide not to hit the older one, the old man with the airplane. The old man could have at least, thought about the fact that he's in a public space and conduct himself better. But honestly, I know that they could have done better. That's all that I have to say.
When I saw it, I saw a power struggle thing. Power struggle. Like, you are a big man. You're a big man, empty your space. Don't come near my own space. I'll tell you that this is my jurisdiction. I control the plane. I can go without you. And both of them are struggling with who, and the conversation of, do you know who I am? And whenever that one is being said, it triggers the other person, like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? So we don't care who you are. So, and that was what I just saw in play. I saw power struggle. Everybody's trying to use their power. The pilot says, I have power over this and I will go without you. And this man is also telling me, I'm older than you think you are, and I will fly because I'm also part of the government. People know me, I'm popular. So if you ask me, it was a case of power struggle. And everybody's trying to use their power. So now let's what do you think should famous people be treated in a special way that make them, if you're checking everybody's flags when you see a celebrity, just let them pass because they're a celebrity, or they should be treated equally, or they should be treated with utmost respect? Maybe that was
I
what the
think
security didn't do, and that was what aggravated him.
I think everybody should be treated with respect. Everybody should be treated with respect. In fact, in that particular scenario, I think whoever comes to the airport is a paying customer, and everybody should be treated with respect. And well, depending on which class you've bought, which class ticket you've bought, everybody should be treated with that kind of respect. For instance, you bought a first class ticket, you bought, an economy ticket, and all. Everybody should be treated with respect. That's what I think. You understand? And I, I think what um, K1 was trying to do there was trying to be um, to feel high and mighty. He felt high and mighty. And first of all, I'm shocked that you can actually take water even through the checkpoints. All the times I've been through the checkpoint, they always make me dispose of my water and my perfume. They always practically make me not carry perfumes if I want to go from anywhere to anywhere. So
Okay, let me
when
say this. Let me just correct this. You cannot carry perfume and water past the checkpoint. But when you get inside, you can buy water. You can buy, there's a store in the airport. So wherever you can buy everything that you need. So maybe let's assume that you got the water in the airport, so you didn't bring it in for
the fact
clarity's sake.
the fact that he can even carry, look, I had to go do research the first time my perfume was collected and water was collected. I had to go back and research that why was that done. And it was done as a security measure that you won't be allowed to carry your own water into the aircraft, because perfume can be used as an explosive. The perfume can be altered into a makeshift explosive. And also there are people who can actually you know carry some dangerous um, liquid, and they configure it in such a way that when you're taking it through the airspace, you think it's perfume, and they use it for dangerous things. So, and that's the reason why water is provided inside the airplane from some of the research that I did. So even the water that you say you buy when you pass the security checkpoint, you are not supposed to actually take it into the airplane. If you are supposed to, if you are going to follow the security protocols, that's why there's water in the airplane. You understand? So I think that everybody should follow the law of the airport, of the aviation, in fact, of whatever space you find yourself. It's important that you follow the law. Even though you paid for first class tickets, you paid for economy tickets, you paid more than XYZ. There are other people whose safety is solely dependent on your ability to actually behave well. You understand? So I think as much as we want to treat everybody differently, we should treat everybody with respect. We should treat everybody in such a way that, nobody's act will now jeopardize every other person's safety. And that's what happened. And I think that there are several ways that he could have handled that matter. And even I don't even blame the pilot at all, because even the pilot shouldn't have to come in to taxi the aircraft to the point where he was blocking it. Where were the security men? These are things that cannot even happen in a sane world, where somebody was not allowed to board, and then he decides to now find a way to make himself as an obstacle for the plane to move. You understand? What was the security men doing? You know, what were they doing? A lot of questions really requires answers.
I don't understand how they get that close to a plane. In America that I've been flying, I've never seen a plane. No, did you even know that I'm in one trying to see another one outside? I've never been that close to a plane. It's from one gate, like you walk into like there's a channel that will make you walk into the plane straight. We don't use that step. That step thing that you guys, last time I saw that step was in Ethiopia when I was in Ethiopia. So I was like, that step, we don't use it. There is one thing that they will just connect to the plane like this, and then all of you walk into the plane without even. So that Bobo drama, somebody standing in front of a plane, I've never seen it. So, but anyways, it's applicable, Nigeria is anything is permissible. And so now, what
Mhm.
law do you think if a passenger impede the aircraft? Do you think there's any law against it? There's any offense? Because what I read is like you're supposed to pay a fine of 500K or be in jail or in prison for 2 years. Do you think that can still be measured against him? Or if it was a layman, you and I that did that, where would we be? Are we going to be making apology video or will have been jail now?
Yeah, you see, I think they run a very high risk if they don't, make him a scapegoat in this matter. They run a high risk of, everybody taking laws into their hands. One day, airpeace will just, cancel somebody's flight, and you find them on the terminal blocking the airplane from flying. So if they don't take this as an opportunity to be able to send a loud and clear message, and it's going to be an issue. Before you know, people will start hiring agberos to stop planes from flying. You understand? So uh, I think the right thing to do will be for them to measure out the maximum punishment possible in this case. That's the truth, because the result of what he did could have been very catastrophic. It could have been more than what we're talking about. Anything that goes wrong with that airline and lives are lost would have been catastrophic. You understand? So I don't think an apology is enough. Good. The pilot's license has been suspended. The passenger also needs to be held accountable. So an apology is not enough for in fact, for even behaving like that in the public space. I read the apology. The apology was very shallow for me, so, as far as I'm concerned. The apology even seems compelled. It seems like he had to do it because he didn't want to offend the president, because you have to address the president first. So, but for me, I think that the maximum, the maximum penalty should be meted out to that offense. It's not acceptable at all. He said in the apology that he's a role model and that he has always been an ambassador. Behaving like that in the public is not right. Behaving like that in the public is not right at all. And you would ask yourself this question: if, even though he feels high and mighty, he feels high-handed, and he feels like he knows so many people, if this were to be in another man's country, would he have done the same thing? Would he have done the same thing if he was in another airport that was not in Nigeria? Would he have been able to do the same thing? So I think that in order to be able to avoid such occurrence in the future with other people, it's important that, yes, the maximum punishment should be allowed to take its course.
So it should be jail by now. It should be in prison after the investigation. So now let's talk about the flight delay. During that process, the flight was delayed because they were going back and forth. You can't go for a few minutes or 1 hour. And this is very common in Nigeria now. The delay flights. You want to board two, and they will tell you they have changed the flight to 10 p.m. Then you wonder, like I said, we've had a lot of celebrities ranting online to this effect. Do you think that our airline needs to start compensating their passengers for delaying them in the flight, or we should just make everything goes through?
Yeah, look, that conversation is should have started a couple of years ago. You know, this year alone, I think I missed like 2 meetings that I wanted to go for because of airpiece. Yes, airpiece would they didn't even delay. They would just reschedule it. You probably be on your way to the airport, and they will just tell you that they've rescheduled your flight. So when you reschedule my flight, and I have something to do at the time I booked it, it means that I'm running at a loss because of your own, you know, inability to plan properly. There should be compensation, like not just compensation, a very huge compensation, except in situations where the reason why they are shifting the flight is a risky thing. Maybe it's something that has to do with the safety of flying. Maybe there's bad weather condition and all. I don't think there's any reason. There are even some routes that for now, I think eventually airpeace are suspended it. Airpeace are masters in canceling and delaying flights in some routes across Nigeria. So you delay somebody's flight or you cancel somebody's flight, you do not make up, accommodation arrangement for those persons. You don't even they don't even know when they are going to fly next. They just know that they are in the dark and all. Penalties needs to be meted out to those kind of aircraft. Honestly, explanations needs to be given. Proper compensations needs to be had. Somebody needs to be able to be held accountable. Somebody needs to take responsibility for that, for that act of incompetence, because time is money. Some people have lost contracts just because their flights were cancelled. Some have lost jobs. Some have lost interviews. Some have even lost things that they cannot get back just because of that simple delay. I think that is high time that the airlines are being held responsible and be asked to ensure that they properly compensate anybody that is involved in that kind of issue.
Thank you, because I know it's long overdue to talk about this airplane,
Mm-hmm.
Delaying passengers. It's long overdue, and it's very common. It becomes a norm in Nigeria. Like you just have to be wherever you want to go ahead and make you to pay for for hotel longer days because you don't know what the airline can do to you. And somebody saying something here that the apology was not really genuine, that it was just from a form of PR because it was eyeing the position of Oba Vijebu. The person that just died. So they were saying like he's eyeing the position, so he just did it so that he can jump on that position. Anyways, that's we know it's not genuine, but it's more than that. Thank God for Jesus Kiyam who stepped in that said that he also should be put on do not fly till the investigation is over, both internationally and domestically. Since he cannot comport himself, we should go and get a private jet. Since the thing is too big enough to listen to the security officers, then he should go and get his own private jet. He's not flying anymore. Yes. Is there a international one? Is there an international flight?
It goes a few routes. It goes a few international routes, but it's more local.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why we tend to support airpeace is because we're trying to grow a Nigerian brand. It's probably the only the only airline that we know that it's owned by a Nigerian, that is run by a Nigerian. You understand? But at this stage, it's time to remove the origin and just competence is what everybody wants to talk about now. Competence.
Anyways, because I could see that pain in Oshogo. Maybe he has experienced it or seen somebody experience it because they're like we made them treat us like trash.
No, any Nigerian that flies at least maybe twice every 6 months must have experienced it. You know, it's either
Hmm.
they fly, they postpone your flight, and or you fly at the right time and they forget your luggage. Look, I don't want to even talk about that.
Oh no. So is that okay? Let's not divert to airplanes. Okay.
Mhm.
So now, do we look at the security personnel who were attending to Kwam? Are we going to see maybe they did not handle it very well? Maybe if they have talked to him respectfully or requested that flags or there's a way they could have handled it better that it wouldn't have escalated to this. Not the pilot, it's like the security personnel that was talking to him. Maybe they could have said something that aggravated it or made it more aggressive.
Yeah, you see, the truth is that if we were to go by the laws that governs you flying, because you have been committing a crime and nobody has looked at it, does not mean that you are right. You know, you're taking a liquid content into the airplane. His statement reads like he stated in his statement like he has always done. First of all, when he said like I was always done, I thought, well, he's just shot himself in the leg. But he was smart enough to then, recap and then say that because he needs to stay hydrated because of his health condition. Because ideally, you're not even supposed to take any flask. You're not supposed to take any flask into the airplane. You are not supposed to. That's why they give water in the airplane. You understand? So there is a loop in that security assessment there. There's a loop there. And he was able to take advantage of that loop. Irrespective of the situation, he was able to take advantage of that loophole there. Because when you are in the air, people downstairs don't know what's going on there. So the life of everybody in the air is actually in the hands of the pilot. And so the pilots and the co-pilots and their security needs to do proper check before you come in. So if you ask me, I'll tell you that the security was porous. The security did not do their normal assessment. You shouldn't have carried it beyond the first and the second, and then until he now got to the terminal where he was about to board before somebody now said, okay, please check again. Even though he says that they checked it and they checked it again and all that. The point is it right to even carry such a thing into the aircraft? If everybody were to start carrying maybe the aircraft, in aircraft that takes as much as 100, 200 people, if everybody were to start carrying, things like that into the aircraft, will it be safe to fly? You understand? So there was a serious breach of security on that day. There's no excuse. There was a serious breach of security. And as much as I want to say, yes, it's okay that the pilot was suspended, I feel like if the security had done their job, it wouldn't have been up to the pilot to say, no, you can't come in until you drop that, until you verify what is in that. And then some people are even postulating this theory that it was an alcoholic content that was inside the flask. Some
They
say it's
even said
water,
that it
some say
was
it's
high,
alcohol.
that if you're not high, you don't stand in front of a plane and you
You
will not be
know,
reckless.
and the proof is there. The physical proof is there that a madman will not even go and stand in front of an airplane. How much more somebody who is sane? So why would you go stand in front of that singular video can be used to prove in the court of law that yes, you were intoxicated. So I think a lot of things went wrong, but I feel like if the security men were able to do their job properly, we won't be here talking about this.
Look at what that's true. This is another angle. Even if the doctor say you need to stay hydrated, so that means the flight from Abuja to Lagos is just an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a few minutes over
It's
an
only
hour. Then
45
what
minutes.
will nothing is gonna happen to you if you don't drink water in the plane. So you're welcome, Bershoko. How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Good to have you after many years. Hey,
Don't mind me. Don't
I
mind
know,
me.
right?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I
Hi,
miss.
Shago. Good afternoon.
Pastor,
Unfortunately, I
how are
can't see
you?
you.
It's been so long. I don't know. I don't know if I think it's my Facebook, but I know I can only see myself into.
I can
Yeah,
always
yeah, yeah.
accept you. That's okay.
Mm.
So we're talking about Kwam and the airplane incident. What's your opinion about it? What do you say?
Okay, yeah. So I think Kwawan. I actually, if there's anything I appreciate in this government of Tinubu, is the fact that it doesn't meddle into people's affairs. I've read somewhere that someone said it, and I think this is actually believable now. Taiwo Dele, the guy on tax, said something. He said Tinubu said to him that in as much that you said you know much about tax, I think you should come on board and do it. And he said for the past 2 years or so, Tinubu has allowed him do things on his own. All what he do is just, oh, Baba, this is what we are going to do. And Baba will approve it. And it doesn't seem interested in the whole thing. He will ask him, are you sure this is going to fly? If he convinced Baba, he will say, oh, guy, let's do it. You know, people are saying that Kwan is saying, do you know who I am? I'm a friend to the president and all of that. Oh, I'm a son to the president. Tinubu will never meddle in this kind of things. I'm 101% sure of that, because I've seen people talked about it, even people that are even working closely with the current government of Nigeria. So that is by the way. So for K1 to even have come to apologize, publicly, I think it's another reasons to believe Tinubu. And, everybody knows that Kwame is like that. All his band members have been to, there's this platform on Facebook that I used to watch. I can't remember the name of the guy that used to interview people, band people, that left the band or probably maybe having issue with their band leaders and all of that. So we've all seen how they used to talk about K1. He's full of ego and all of that. And with what the report we got online, saying that the content inside that flask is actually alcohol and not water, but Kwan is saying it is water, which is fine. So I think court can actually, tell us what is actually inside the flask because we were told that he threw the content at one of the security, official securities there, So the main contention is this, in which Eshegun have actually addressed, is the security at that airport. What are they doing? Is Kwama too big to arrest? That's number one. I have so many questions for the security, the official security there. I mean, I don't know why at that point, for him to get close to that airplane. I mean, you've said it, or you said the first time you've seen that ladder, or probably maybe get close to an airplane is when you were at Ethiopia. Everybody knows that it is even dangerous. So I want to believe that Baba is actually acting under the influence of alcohol. I really want to believe that, because it's too dangerous to get that close to the airplane. So Baba, I'm actually, like I said, I'm happy that he could have come. He came out to apologize. That is actually one reason to believe that Nigeria is going to be better again. Because Kwawan that I know will not come out publicly to even say he's sorry. That is a role model, is an ambassador to the country, blah blah blah. So I feel that Baba is actually out of it. There's nobody trying to support him or give him a free ticket to do whatever you can do in the country, which is actually okay. And I feel encouraged as a Nigerian, at least for the very first time. So I feel encouraged.
So now, before I think we talked about the security and the passengers. So let's move to the pilot. What was the pilot's plan? To kill him?
No, 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 no. Okay. So there's this thing that I know about people that take time that flies a lot. The reason why they consider taking airplane instead of taking road when local flights, by the way, is that it's time ban one. Number two, it's important to them. That meeting, whatever, is actually important to them. They need to get there really quick, or probably maybe security. So imagine I think people on board that day were over 300. From what I heard in the news, they're over 300. Imagine one of them actually, file a complaint against the pilot or the value jets, so a lot of, so I feel, I think pilot was a little bit impatient, but he was trying to defend the other passengers. So he has, the pilot actually has a case, she can, if she can defend himself or probably get a good lawyer, I think she will win. She will.
Okay. Oga Ajashagun. Do you think the palace plan was to kill the guy for Oloya already? Because what do you think?
Yeah, well, I think um, that's what any typical Nigerian would have done anyway. So I try to put myself in her shoes. And, somebody standing in front of my car saying I can't move. I think I would dare the person. I would try and see truly if though that's not the right thing to do, and I'm not going to encourage anybody to be violent. But of course, there's nobody that would do that, that would want to um just stand in front of the car alone, let alone a plane, trying to use your body to shield a plane. That's crazy. But it's against the law of flying. It's against the law of the aviation department and all. So I think whatever judgment is meted upon her, she will be asked to she'll be asked to answer. But of course, just like Shogo said, she has a case that she can use to defend herself, because she had a job to do and she was only trying to find a way to do the job and get to her destination, as much as she could. So I think that's it.
I think all of them need to go to anger management class.
Yeah, possibly. Possibly. And do you know one thing? Possibly. And do you know one thing? In a sinner crime, there is if it's this K1's mugshot will have been everywhere, trying to
Mugshot
make it.
báwo.
I'm telling you,
Kí ló tí ì ṣe tó fi fa mugshot?
I'm telling you, I mean, that is him trying to commit suicide. They will have to probably
No,
maybe take
somebody
him
planned to
to
kill him. It's not suicide though. They plan to kill him now.
nobody.
Anyways,
Nobody planned to kill him. He's trying to commit suicide because why we be so tired of life and stand in front of a plane? That's another thing. Another thing is this, I think the reason why he even apologized now is because of the 6 months ban they gave him. If that 6 months ban is actually effective, trust me, K1 will become so humble. K1 gets books almost every day in a month, almost every day. Imagine the last day you cannot fly for 6 months. How would you survive?
I don't think they put a time frame. They said investigation, but let's see how it's playing.
No, I think I saw 6 months ban something where on the news from a blog like that.
Okay.
So I thought
But
six
what I
months. So
think here is
imagine,
like, let's assume the passenger are putting pressure on the pilot. We shouldn't be. There's no way pilot to be under the pressure of the passengers. Maybe the passenger is saying, let's go. But at least you should get a safety check that everywhere is safe to fly. You should be given the order to fly before you try it. And because even your security men are still around you, you shouldn't fly because somebody could be somewhere. You get what I mean? Before you plane, you make sure there is nobody around. But you were flying while a lot of people, not only him, a lot of people were still there. So I think she didn't do well there though. So let's welcome Bertone. Bertone, you're welcome. Bertone, are you there? You're muted.
Hello, Joe.
You're welcome.
Àrẹ̀kú ganu sí lọ́tún lósì.
Kwam wants best I met well. Ajashago says the conspiracy theory so that the VDM Yabo, this one too, they're all so that we don't remember what is happening. The political thing they were doing underneath, but I don't know how true that is. But if events unfold in Nigeria, that is also always a thing. So if you were to be, what's your opinion? What lens are you seeing this story? Was it Kwam one trying to be non-compliant passenger, or were the security overdoing their job, or they were not doing it professionally, or the pilot who was trying to even fly the plane when it's not even safe to fly it? Do you think she was under pressure, or she was just trying to use her power, or probably under the struggle like I got this place? So what do you say?
Esholotu. So I'll start from the conspiracy side that you said. Honestly, it is becoming increasingly hard to take anything that happened in Nigeria at the face value. The reason why I'm saying that is all of these things are so glaring to not think that there's something hidden with everything that is going on. And I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but that is understandable. The reason why I'm saying that is the reference to one administrator in Buhari's camp that said that there was a news that they brought out after they had already denied it. They had already called us fools for even thinking that. To now come out now, maybe because they fell out or because Buhari had died, to come out and say that the news about the rats in the state house was actually a propaganda to distract people from the true news, which was the health of Buhari at that time. Okay, that again, I'm moving off of that. Now back to the discourse around Babawa, K1, the ultimate. The thing is, we don't really pay attention to some of the things that we see. K1 is a superhero because for someone to be the ultimate, that's the name of a superhero, and that's why he could stand in front of the plate because he's a superhero. I'm kidding, but the point is, what happened it's a disgrace. It's a national disgrace. To the NCA or whatever the name of the regulatory body is, for one man to be constituting nuisance on the wrong way. It shouldn't even be accessible. But it started because they were boarding the plane, walking to the plane to board it, right? I think it's a private jet or something. I can't remember.
It wasn't a value jet, is the name. I stand to be corrected. Have you moved that close to a plane before in America or anywhere?
No. You have to go the walkway. Except of course if there's an emergency.
Exactly.
Right. That's the only and that's why I'm saying that what gave room for that was because they walked into it. Now, and I know that they've given the pilots some slap on the wrist and all of that, but the entire chain of whatever process they go through should be questioned. In a standard way, it should have been checked for everything that is carrying in the terminal before they start walking out. So the question is, who allowed him to carry that mysterious liquid substance that is water to K1 but alcohol to the crew? Who allowed him to go past? That person should be sanctioned, and not just what we see, because it exposes the fact that Nigeria is a free for all as long as you're wealthy and you have a connection. It's been happening. It just so happened that this time he didn't get it. That was why he was arrogant about it. Because for you to be arrogant about something, you would have thought that it is within your rights to do that thing. Because if you know that you cannot go with liquid substance, you won't be arrogant. You won't be fighting, right? So for them to now have a fight at the base of the plane, to the point out that you're now using your body. How dumb do you have to be to think that you have to use your body to stop a plane? You cannot even, you even be dumb to think that you can use your body to stop a car. Not to talk of a plane as big as it is. Now, you to have to be pilots, because we can talk about it that the pilot did not act professionally, right? But that wouldn't be the case if K1 had followed the due process, right? And as much as we want to say the pilot didn't act professionally or swore, she probably did not even see Baba at the base of the plane.
No, she can't even think somebody will stand like that in front of a plane. You know what I mean?
So that is
she won't
just
think that somebody in his right senses would ever do that.
exactly. Now, to now answer the question about professionalism, right? The airport security did not do their job. The people that were standing beside K1 actually enabled him, because if you're doing that and they are still standing to talk to you, that is enablement. Now they should have bundled you out. You're not going with the flight with this thing. They should bundle you, but because they know K1 is our Baba and all of that, they were still standing to talk to him, right? Now, the reason why I said the airport security should have done something swiftly is because what happened there, however short that time may be, however short time that time frame may be, or however long, because I don't think it is short, because it took, even the recording that we saw took minutes, right? It should have prompted a swift reaction from security, because that is a national security incident. We just don't know it. The reason being that every plane that takes off, they have a schedule, right? Immediately you get your taxiing, the air traffic controller, they've given you a time allotted to you to lift off. If someone is now preventing you to lift off, before you go, you have to check with the air traffic controller, because you don't know if there's another flight that is making a landing, or another flight that is using the wrong way as at the new time that you're now ready to leave. You understand what I'm saying? Because, and that could lead to, like, of course, we've seen it in the US here with two planes colliding with each other because of the fact that there was irregularities with control. So that should have been taken as a national security incident, because you don't know which other plane will be coming, and then because one man with a bloated ego decided to use his body to shield a plane, delay the plane for even as small as 2 minutes, could have caused a disaster. So to me, security agencies should have bundled K1 out of that place. But of course, K1 is in power, because if Tinubu is in power, K1 is in power. Then, right? I think the pilot acted emotionally as well.
Yes, I want you to talk about her.
Yeah, now will be because she's a woman. I won't say that. Although she acted unprofessionally, it could have happened to anybody. We don't know how short anybody's fuse is. We don't know what anybody is dealing with. You might be frustrated, like you understand. It's not. I'm not saying that it is permissible, but things can happen that will trigger someone to just act irrationally. So the pilot also should have contacted the air traffic control and then say, oh, there's an incident that may cause something serious here. Can you send security operatives to come and bundle these people out of this place before? I mean, having a clear path on that runway before she takes off. Yeah.
But let's assume that wing hit him and he died now, and he's dead now. What could have happened?
He's dead. No.
Oh.
No, there's nothing. Even if they sanction the whatever the pilot, any the highest they will do, they will send her out. What other highest thing would they have done? Maybe send her to jail. She can even go scot-free without going to jail if she has a good lawyer. Like I said, an excuse would be, oh, I got a clean bill to fly. I didn't even see, because okay, lower, I might not see someone that is by the tire of the plane. But the point that I'm making is still Olori Omoba Egba, Somebody ku Babaji law niyo. People die every day now. Buhari Goku. Sorry.
So okay, I just have you understood. Thank you for staying by. So what lesson do you think everybody should learn from this story to round it up? Ajashekun.
Yeah, the lesson that we should all learn, first of all, for me, I think is it's important that we all learn how to conduct ourselves in public spaces, irrespective of the position that we carry. It's important that we all learn to conduct ourselves. And then, just like Brotunde said, professionalism, right, is important. I think the pilot could have done better as a professional. You could have decided not to move the plane. But anyways, I'm not the one to judge. I'm not a pilot. I don't know what their law book says, because if I look at it from another side, the pilot trying to not, do anything against him is like him now, displeasing those other people who are actually on the plane. There are over 100 people on the plane, and just one man is down there trying to hold that plane to ransom. Just like Shogo said, well, you can liken that to suicide. You can liken it to him trying to hijacking the plane and all. But it's important that we all learn how to conduct ourselves in public spaces. In fact, I take that one as a very important thing. When I'm in a public space, I try as much as possible to remember the son of whom I am. You understand? So, and I also think that um, it's high time for rules to be followed. I still think that it's a crime that he was able to evade two security spots with that flask. I still think that it's a very risky thing. If he had taken that flask on, or if somebody else sees the fact that, okay, because I've been able to take the flask on, one day somebody will take it on and use it to commit a very heinous crime. So I think it's high time that closer attention is paid to stuffs like that. Lives are at stake. Just because of one man, you can't decide to jeopardize every other person's life. So stop it there.
Talking about that flags, I don't know. I want Bertoni to be my verifier here. When you're traveling, you can travel with the flags, but without content. But when you get after the first check, second check, you can buy water and pour it in your flags now and still fly with it. I don't know if maybe that was his own case. If you buy something, you can buy alcohol in the what's called in the airport before you board. But I don't know if it's different here in America, because I'm talking from that experience. I've not flied any domestic in Nigeria. So I don't know if that is only applicable in America, or probably it is not in. You can carry water. When I'm traveling with my kids, when I get to the airport, I buy all their food, the water, I fly with it, because I won't wait till when the attendant wants to give me food before my children eat or before I drink water. So in that case, do you think carrying the flags is the problem here, or not complying to what the security are saying?
Yeah, so in my opinion, and I'm saying in my opinion because I am not a professional in airport dealings, right? In my opinion, the flask is not the problem. The problem is the context. And also, water is not a problem. If truly it got the water after checking, like you said, we buy water or things after you checked it, but you won't. But even if it is alcohol, you cannot buy alcohol to kind of like you already have it open and you're drinking it or whatever, or you pour it in a flask. No, even if you buy alcohol in all those duty-free thingy, it has to be sealed when you enter into the airport, right? Into the plane rather. So to kind of like respond to what you said, the problem is not that you carried a flask, because the whatever it is that you're bringing into the airport, they will ask you to pour it out while you're at the security check. Of course, it's also for security as well, But once you cross that check, you can buy whatever you want to buy, but you cannot buy alcohol to be pouring in something and be drinking. That's it. But again, the issue is the non-compliance. And even if it is water that you're carrying, right? At the point of them checking you, you don't have any right to still maintain that I must carry this on board, because now the people checking you have the right to ascertain that what you're bringing is not water. It is the burden of proof is now on you to show them that, oh, this is water, right? But with the way it went, you didn't prove. You just started fighting and then you pour the content on people. That is, even if it is still water, right? The moment you become unruly, aggressive, it is still the prerogative of the pilot or the captain to say, I'm going with this man or I'm not going with this. The plane or the aircraft have the power to say, we are not going with you. The highest you say is you want a refund of your money. And then you go and process that. But this plane, no, you're not going with us, because you behave in a conduct that we believe is detrimental to our brand, to other people on the plane. So they can take that action.
But now, can you go to the lesson learned in this conversation? I just want to clear the angle of flags. Maybe they didn't check him well in first security post, second security post. So that's why I just want to clear, like, it might not be checking problem. It's
the lesson learned is every brother Joshua. It is important to conduct ourselves in a manner that is not going to bring shame to our family. And also, as professional, it is important for us to try as much as possible. I'm using the word try as much as possible because sometimes people would get on your nerves, just as Omani Fowoshe did. To try as much as possible to be professional. Had it been that the lady still kept her cool, did not taxi off, it would be a different conversation that we'll be having right now. Definitely. The other thing that I've seen might not be a lesson learned, is just to understand that we have a long way to go as a country, because with what is going on and all of that, and people, you still see people siding with Kwam. I have one notable thespian, an actor, Patrick Doyle, that was saying rubbish about it. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense. And also the way some of the things that I've seen, that people like Abike Dabiri reposting Kwamwan's message and saying temper justice with mercy, is already showing us that if someone in government can be advocating for someone that did something so obvious, so wrong, and you're advocating how this is going to end, right? And also, we're not even sure that this man is going to serve his no-flies ban. We, of course, Nigeria is Nigeria. Nigeria is a country where there's been rumors that people that are in prison, they have their separate private wing where they have servants tending to them because they are powerful. So if that can happen in Nigeria, who says Kwamwan will not fly if he wants to fly? Last, he will fly in the middle of the night. Would they show you the manifest of all those planes when people fly them? So, but one thing that I'll commend the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo. I would say that it's probably one of the two ministers in Nigeria that are actually working. I'll say that he's done great. And what I saw with what he posted kind of felt like they wanted to sanction the pilot and leave Kwam. It was him that said, no, we have to put Kwam on a no-fly zone as well. So that's a good thing. But we need to learn as a country that we need to demand for equity and all of that going forward, and plus everything that Brother Jashegun has said.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And this is all that we have for today. Thank you for coming, Ajashegun, Go, and you too. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on all our posts and all social media. Our YouTube is also online. Though I'm trying to boost that YouTube is still very low, but we're getting there. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, and here we are on Facebook. Thank you. Bye.